Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. I'm very excited today to talk about an area and a topic and a sector which is very close to my heart. And we from NSN actually partly work in this sector, which has to do with media, communication, content creation. And most of us are very creative people in our team. And I'm so glad that today we are going to talk in depth about this sector. And we have with us today Mr. Sanjay Khimesara, who's the director of Horizon Institute of Design, which is located in Indore. And he also is the president of Asifa, which is actually the International Association for Animation Films. He is also the governing council member for Media and Entertainment Sector Skill Council and is working actively at the state level for the AVGC policy, that's AVGC and XR policy. So we are talking about the AVGC and XR sector, which actually is animation, visual effects, gaming, comics, and extended reality. So welcome to this talk, Mr. Sanjay. I'm so glad you could give us some time today.
Thank you so much. It is so much a pleasure of mine to be with you and at least share some of my experiences with NSL.
Thank you.
You are doing some commendable job. So I think we need a lot of people like you who are go-getters and who can improve the skill network in India.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. As I said, this is one of the sectors which has huge potential and it's being kind of formalized also under the AVGC-XR, subsectors. So if we pick up each of these subsectors, can you tell us what could be the potential for jobs, for gig jobs, for entrepreneurship and many other things? And how do we utilize this opportunity? How are we preparing for this?
See, one very important thing is this is the AVGC XR is one of the sector in
Yeah,
India today which has the potential for not only jobs and self-employments and gig jobs and all that. One can even become freelancer, one can start something of his own. So there are so many things where one needs to have a proper this thing, strategize about this particular field. So one of the area where one should focus is education and skill development.
right.
Another aspect is incubation, startup related supports, which this field needs a lot of boost for this. Industry and academia collaboration is one very important thing. Then one should look towards networking and having more conferences about this particular sector. Even government supports and policies are one very crucial aspect. Then you have like global collaborations because internationally there is a lot which is happening. Indian pie is very small, so we can drastically improvise on that. Then one very important aspect is promotion and awareness, which is required, which is much needed in this area. Then I feel infrastructure development, there is a lot which can be done on that. And then regulatory framework, which
Right.
where I think some aspects to be taken care of.
Yeah. So there is also a policy at the national level, and states have their own draft policies, right, with regard to AVGC and XR. So what is the current status of this policy, and is there something like an alignment that we can think of with national education policy also? Because NEP 2020 also is encouraging educational institutions to introduce these courses which have a potential for job creation.
Um, like government of India through the budget of 22, they
Yeah.
introduced a task force, and the task force submitted their recommendation in the end of last year itself. Already there is a active this thing going on for National Center of Excellence. is likely to come up in Mumbai. So there are a lot of things which are already happening, and I think education policy, the new NEP which is getting rolled out, there also there are some very good inclusiveness which is happening on this particular part. So already a lot of schools and colleges, they are trying to get inroads on this, and they are trying to explore more and more. So
Mm.
one very important thing is, because India is a very diverse country, so you need inclusiveness on all levels.
Right.
So that is the only major thing which I feel which is required. So I think there are a lot of synergies happening. There's a lot which is happening on this. Job creation, this is one of the demand driven segment. One very important thing is, any segment which can grow has to have the possibilities. Like if you see gaming industry is growing almost every 3 years, it is getting doubled.
Yeah.
So even animation, visual effects, there are some amazing opportunities. Like I created, along with one of my friend, we wrote a book on exciting careers in digital media.
Hmm.
It is as many as 72 job profiles we identified in animation, visual effects, gaming, web and mobile sector, digital areas, even graphics and all. So right from entry level to uh, highest level, there are very good number of opportunities. So it is not always required that one should have amazing creative skills only to get into this. Even those who have moderate level of know-how and skills, they can always get into this sector, and there are opportunities for everyone.
Yeah.
So creators and operators, both kind of profiles are there. So even somebody doing Photoshop and cleanup jobs or retouching, there are careers for them.
Yeah, yeah. So, as you just mentioned, there are new opportunities and new doors opening. The last point you said, like there is potential to, earn a livelihood even by editing some videos, right? Like say there are YouTubers, there are content creators everywhere, and now we have AI-enabled tools where one can just use elements and create beautiful things, right? I don't want to name the tools, but then there are so many of them. Even free tools are there. So I think we are at the in the middle of some kind of a disruption in this industry. So keeping this in mind, what is your idea about how we can quickly reach out to these people? Especially the youth, in terms of giving them training, helping them connect with, maybe the market where they can, sell their services and all that. What would be the fastest way to do this?
One of the fastest way to reach out to people is maybe having online education platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can have mobile learning, because
Yeah,
mobile penetration is one of the highest.
right.
So one very important thing is media consumption has increased drastically in India. And
Mm.
this sector is one of the best sector to utilize that revolution.
Yeah,
And uh, since we have so many things happening, only thing is to streamline this industry in a right way. So maybe collaboration with industry leaders is where one should work towards. And one of the major loop is that affordability of programs is because there are some third-party softwares which are used in the sector. So maybe working on flexible programs, maybe standardizing everything and making education and skilling affordable for people, offering some scholarships, maybe some every, because since the diversity is there, so partnership should be done on the regional levels also, so that every state and location could benefit. Then there should be some implementation of certification programs, and maybe some specific recognition to be given to those who are in the at the last mile,
yeah,
so that they get encouraged to get into this sector. And then there should be thrust to continuous learning, maybe internships are, because when we were working with Tata Institute, so one of the major implementation was work integrate programs. So those programs, one very important factor is the industry internships.
Yes.
So since this is a practical field, those are the things which are required. One should implement it holistically.
Right.
Only thing is, and even one major factor always is, because this is a demand driven sector, so hand holding in terms of placements.
Yeah.
Because there are very good opportunities. Only thing is, there should be someone to channelize this properly for everyone.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Right.
government support is always crucial for the growth of any sector.
Yeah. And we also see that state governments are also taking initiatives, about focusing on each state. And as you just mentioned in great detail about what all things can be done. And as we all know that India today is emerging as a content creation destination rather than, doing like back office work for Hollywood animation movies or things. We have our own indigenous and our own industry, right? And we have a lot of scope. Even if you look at animation, okay, it must have started with animation for children, but we also have full length animation movie which has earned awards and things. So there is animation movie for, I mean, at the adult level, right? So animation as a genre, as something which has a huge potential. There is a lot to be done as well. Now, looking back at all that you said, if you have to pick up three critical points that we all should focus on, what would they be?
To me, because the industry, like today, only thing is shaping this industry in a right way. So, three things for me would be comprehensive skill level skill development programs, then industry collaboration and innovation,
Hmm.
and third thing would be promotion of diversity, inclusion, and culture.
Hmm.
So India has a rich heritage of because we are one of the ancient civilization in the world. So we may utilize our own stuff and develop a lot of indigenous content, because there is a huge demand for content creation. So within our country itself, we can have a very good ecosystem of utilizing these kind of contents, and maybe having some inclusive workforce and cultural exchanges, so that we become
Right.
more relevant to the international market. So within industry collaboration, I see there are a lot of possibilities of research and development. Even a lot of incubation hubs are required, so that we can just groom the talented individuals.
Yeah.
A lot of international partnerships could take place in that. So within the skill development aspect, I would say one very important aspect which is required is specialized curriculums, and there should be standardization. One very crucial factor which is there in the sector. Every there across India, there are so many people offering so many things. So there is a kind of confusion also in this sector.
Hmm.
There are some design programs. So communication design is one area, fine art is another area. Then you have some animation, visual effects, and gaming related institutes. Somebody talking about digital marketing. So there are so many things which are happening, but only thing is proper regulation is something which is required. And we should always encourage continuous learning and hands-on on training on these areas.
Yeah, you just mentioned this kind of diversity and a lot of unorganized kind of work. Would NSQF levels help here if we try to implement this across all these players who are there?
It will surely help, but only challenge is that see, there are so many things which are very good at a planning level,
Hmm.
but unless they are implemented appropriately,
Hmm.
one of the major challenge in India is implementing things in a proper way. So maybe standardization and then implementation of that standardized thing on a holistic level.
Yeah.
Once it is done, then because NSQF is something amazing, but only thing is it has to come to the root level.
Yeah.
So I think NSQF can definitely do a lot of good for this sector.
Okay. Okay, so maybe with the credits and NSQF, things might change in the coming months and years, perhaps. And also, this sector has, as we were discussing, huge potential to employ women, perhaps who want to work from home. If they have good connectivity, and a good laptop or a desktop computer, I'm sure they can do wonders with if they have good training. And also in tier two cities or smaller places, again, this sector has potential there also. So keeping all this in mind, what would be, like, say, the best way to reach out to them? Are these people aware that such potential are there? I'm also asking you because even in small villages, we see people creating these YouTube reels and things like that, shorts, Instagram, and you see the amazing creativity they are able to display with those editorial things which are there, the editing tools which are there, right? So we see it everywhere. So how do we organize and make it a bit formal?
That's a very, very relevant thing which you are talking about. And I think that tier 2 and tier 3 is the place where actual growth will happen. And
Hmm.
because there are a lot of new age kind of things which are happening, like YouTubers, or you will see that a lot of good innovative ideas are developed by people through reels and all. Only thing is to right size these things, and that is where the regulator, the skilling councils, and the NGOs can do a lot of work, because one very important thing is we were in talks with ministry as well as with CBSE. So because if you see there are 10 to 15 crore people who come from 10 to 12, but there are hardly lakhs of people who enter into this sector. So
Yeah.
you can see the gap, which is because this is one of the amazing sector where there are n number of opportunities. So since it is a huge demand driven and demand is going to grow only, and this is if you see Indian GDP is around 6 to 7% currently. This sector has a growth of 15 to 45% in various sectors.
Hmm.
So opportunity base is amazing. Only thing is to just shape it in a right way. So maybe online education and maybe some hand-holding thing at various levels, and more than just providing some certification or something, a proper practical skilling. So maybe, like, I'll give you an example. During the COVID period, we at Asifa ideated that we should do something for the women in particular. So
Hmm.
what we did was we created a program with Unreal, with Epic Games, which is called as Women Creators Program. Now,
Okay.
this program actually we initially even tapped $5,000 as the fellowship through Unreal.
Oh.
And first year we had only 20 girls. Second year we had 25 girls, and this year there were 100 people. So it was such a amazing program, and it was taken so well,
Hmm.
and that has actually transformed a lot of women creators into a different person altogether. So already gaming is a buzzword, and this is used in virtual production, cinematography, and almost so many areas of this industry. So uh, doing that education at the comfort of your home, that too for free, and there are some amazing mentors who were supporting the people who wanted to do something. So I think a lot of such implementations are needed at grassroots level, and this could drastically. So incentivizing, as I said, 5,000 USD is something which anybody would always be. So actually, we were able to help a lot of people to get into mainstream again.
Hmm.
Those who were trying to just get into other direction. So I think women, like we are supporting women in animation, which is a global body already. So we do a lot of informal mixers everywhere. I travel across country, and in last 1 year only, I think we have done more than uh, 25 to 30 such mixers. So
Okay.
what we try to do is we try to have a lot of inclusiveness. We try to bring a lot of, because women particularly, or even the people at ground in so many areas need a lot of support in these areas. So awareness, support, these are the crucial aspects. So if we can do hand holding, we can definitely transform a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely. So that's really also, I think, the need of the hour, because we talk so much about bringing women into the workforce, more and more women, I mean. And before we close or wind up this entire conversation, which was so enriching for all of us, what would be your advice, let's say, to youth who want to enter into this sector? Probably they would be inspired by looking some VFX in a popular movie, or maybe they love certain animation or gaming. Probably they are interested and that's their passion, or anything around this. So maybe you can share your advice for the young people.
So my advice to youngster will be, one is to, if you are positively influenced person, if you are positive in your approach, then this is the industry to get into, because this industry needs a lot of positivity if you want to become a solution provider,
Right.
because this is used in information, communication, entertainment, education, everywhere. So there are huge plethora of job opportunities are there. So if one has that, and then beyond, see, there is always something which is good, that you can play games, or you can, let's say you drive a car, but if you have to create a car, you need to have a different mindset. So passion and curiosity, because curiosity, when I travel anywhere, I say first thing to the youngsters to keep curiosity, because that is the first step to your growth. And that is where, and then continuous learning is something one should always be prepared for, and maybe develop a specialization or expertise, because expertise is one crucial thing which is required in this. So whatever you want to do, you identify that this is something I want to do in rest of my life, and work on that. And maybe because participating in a lot of film festival can help. There are a lot of global festivals. So without any charge, you go to Film Freeway, and you, once you create some good project, submit there. So you may get recognition from anywhere if your work is good. So maybe portfolio development is something one should focus on in this particular segment, and starting early, maybe doing internships, and involved in maybe some entry level apprentice kind of jobs, because NAPS is already working on this. So, and one very important thing is, uh, beyond technical skill, soft skill is one very important thing which one should always develop, because just recently we got associated with one organization which is hiring people and giving complete work from home.
Okay.
So they are even paying 3 to 5 lakh as the initial start only for graphic skills. But
Mm.
what they need is, they need people with technical skills, maybe only Illustrator, Corel, Photoshop kind of skills, and but then they also need a lot of soft skills,
Mm.
so that you are good in conversation, you can communicate well. Language is not the barrier, but communicating things what you have in mind is very, very important. And more than everything else, staying inspired, because this field needs, as I told you, a lot of positivity. So one should always stay inspired. and adopt to the things which are coming up, because there are huge number of challenges. This is always something which can change the dimensions of other people. So you need to be innovative, creative. You need to have one more than anything else, entrepreneur mindset, because
Mm.
that mindset, because there are a lot of organizations which hire for projects, so you should not be disappointed if they are not continuing with you. You
Mm.
should always move on and look for better projects.
Yes.
So if you are skilled, you will be always employed.
Yes.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And don't shy away for taking guidance from others. So if there are experts from industry, so more than routine training, this industry has huge number of experts across India. So taking guidance from them is always a good thing. So these are some of my advices for improvement of youngsters.
Wow, that's a very valuable list of things which you just shared, touching upon technical and soft skills and 21st century skills, which is so very important. And as you told us, in the entire flow of the conversation, this is an industry which has so much of potential, and also whether it is graphic design, animation, or gaming, or whatever, it has application value also across, let's say, from education to edutainment to entertainment to whatever kind of, sector you are working in, right? So I think it's just that, we have to grab the opportunity and try whatever we can do. Definitely, with one word, I would like to always remember, as you said, with a very creative, optimistic, and positive bent of mind. I think that's very crucial to grow in this industry. So thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'll be always glad because I am a career counselor. I am a neutral career counselor also. So if anyone across the India, I am writing on Quora, I am writing on Shiksha, I am directly accessible. So anyone wants an advice on this sector, I am always open to help them. One can go through my book, which soon will be available through CBSE also for free. So maybe utilizing certain things for individual growth is always helpful. So if there is anything any youngster would like to connect through you or directly, they can always do that. And I'm always willing to help people who want to mark their skills through this particular sector. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And we will also definitely pass on this information, and I hope our channel also helps you in reaching out to more.